Basically, like music, I've always wanted to own my own music since I started making my music. And if you probably don't know this, but most of your favorite artists do not own their work.
Taylor Swift has always been forthright whenever she believes a friend or an honest account is on the line. In recent months, the entertainment industry has been abuzz over rumors of a fraught legal battle pitting Blake Lively against Justin Baldoni. Intrigued observers have watched the unfolding confrontation, which revolves around adapting a best-selling novel for the big screen. Initially, the project generated eager anticipation, but it soon gave way to fractious accusations and counter-accusations, ultimately resulting in Baldoni leveling a major defamation lawsuit at Lively. Then, in a surprising development, Taylor Swift is said to have come forward with details that could topple Lively's whole version of events, prompting many to wonder if Lively's legal claims hinge on partial truths, or perhaps none at all. Swift's move to speak has been characterized as a crucial shift in the saga, fueling debates about loyalty, trustworthiness, and the real story behind a heavily anticipated production. In spite of the initial excitement surrounding the production, reports suggest that Lively and Baldoni quickly encountered creative disagreements. She has garnered fame for her fashionable, comedic portrayals, whereas his background is founded on heartfelt storytelling and profound emotional resonance. At first glance, their collaboration appeared to be a cinematic match made in heaven. Lively, a highly sought-after performer, was chosen to headline the project, and rumor had it that her husband, Ryan Reynolds, occasionally provided comedic feedback. Baldoni, on the other hand, was determined to preserve the novel's emotional center, underscoring themes of personal development and genuine human relationships. For a while, it seemed the collaborative energy was strong, as both Lively and Baldoni publicly complimented each other in interviews. Social media fan groups celebrated, certain they would see a rendition of the beloved novel that skillfully blended humor, romance, and reflection. But underlying tensions over the film's tone slowly came to light. Lively, or those around her, hoped to modernize the narrative by introducing more playful comedic beats and haute couture flair. Baldoni, however, feared that an overly glamorous approach might drown out the novel's heartfelt essence, the very quality that had resonated with its audience. Their creative visions diverged, with both parties privately sensing that their vital contributions were being overlooked. In the end, Lively took legal action, contending that she had been marginalized. Baldoni fired back with text messages, behind-the-scenes notes, and meeting transcripts intended to prove that Lively not only played a full part in comedic and stylistic decisions, but actively advocated for them. Baldoni's subsequent $400 million defamation lawsuit cast a significant pall over the production, elevating the conflict beyond the scope of a typical Hollywood spat. The sheer magnitude of that amount hinted at an immense sense of wrongdoing. Both fans and industry insiders found it challenging to deduce who was being honest, especially after rumors surfaced that Blake Lively might have distorted her involvement during sworn testimony.
We always tease each other. He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I can. Like, this is a horrible thing to say. And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh, really? Because I just have one on my list. I don't have anyone on my list.
And then it wasn't funny anymore.
No, it's so much more of a burn. He's like, wait, who? And I was like,
Tell me, he's guessing.
Think of someone. Bob Newhart. I don't know.
I for sure fell short, and you worked really hard on that, and the way you framed it, and how that made you feel. I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. That takes a lot of trust and vulnerability, and I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that that's how you feel and share that with me. And I'm really sorry. I f***ed up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I am a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And and I'm gonna f*** up. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I'm gonna piss you off, probably, but I will always apologize.
At first, Taylor Swift's involvement in this saga was murky. She and Lively have long been recognized as friends, sharing social media tributes and even teaming up on lighthearted endeavors. Gossip swirled as some speculated that Swift, or individuals in her circle, might have offered comedic ideas or provided informal input on particular creative decisions. Then came a game-changing rumor. Swift was aware of Lively's private remarks and may have had access to evidence contradicting the star's official narrative. Various unnamed insiders claim that Swift grew troubled about the lawsuit, suspecting that the public version of events conflicted with what she had personally observed. According to reports, Swift eventually made the decision, after considerable thought, to present messages, transcripts, or recollections that directly challenge Lively's account. The revelation was monumental. Not only is Swift a formidable star in her own right, she also exerts a significant impact on the court of public opinion. For a close friend of Lively's to openly question the actor's version of events lends significant credence to the possibility that the original legal action may not be as cut and dried as Lively's attorneys have depicted. Insiders characterize Swift's stance as calm and exact. Though she has yet to denounce Lively in public, it appears that she felt compelled to speak up about incidents she personally witnessed or took part in, unwilling to allow inaccuracies to remain unaddressed. A confidant of Swift indicates that her early participation in the film's development was casual and amicable, occasional brainstorming, a humorous anecdote here and there, and discussions on how to bring certain parts of the story into a contemporary setting. This source claims that Lively responded positively whenever Swift suggested a witty line or an imaginative scenario. There appeared to be no trace of hesitation or pressure, raising doubts about Lively's subsequent allegation that comedic elements were forced on her unexpectedly. Indeed, reports say Swift possesses voice memos and text messages revealing Lively's excitement over these whimsical ideas, proof that would sharply contradict Lively's contention in court that she had little influence over the film's comedic direction. Devotees of Swift and Lively's famously close bond find themselves divided. Some fear that Swift's willingness to reveal discrepancies in Lively's claims could destroy a long-valued friendship. Others argue that Swift is merely defending the facts, perhaps aiming for a resolution that saves everyone from protracted legal troubles. Nevertheless, the phrase "Swift speaks out" has circulated widely online, igniting conversations on whether friendship loyalty should include unwavering support or whether fidelity to truth, and potentially to others, including Baldoni, takes precedence over conventional discretion. In the midst of this development, Baldoni has capitalized on the fresh information, declaring that his legal counsel invites any clarifications from individuals possessing pertinent knowledge. While he stopped short of naming Swift outright, many in the industry read his statement as a direct plea for the singer to formally share whatever documents she holds.
It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life and breaks them and ends the circle. And I hope people find it inspiring, and yet also, you know, it's a film about a heavy topic. It's about domestic violence.
And I'm excited to have a creative partner in that with you. And it's just really exciting. There's so much more to say. There's so much I want to say. And there's one thing that I do need to say, which is I am so sorry you have been through what you've been through with these other filmmakers and producers or whoever the people were that you worked with. It just pissed me off. Those that I'm just still kind of blown away that this is the industry that we're in and that you've experienced that as a woman. And I know I don't need to say it, but that's not at all going to be or will be, and hopefully it's not been the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me like that I get to work with Blake Lively and have her, all of her. I mean, that's what I want. And so there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. I am totally fine with that. The only reason I didn't send it today was because I was trying to implement and add your notes into my working draft, which is already like I'm all over that draft right now. So there's a whole bunch of new stars that are going to be collated pages. And I just haven't had a chance to send it to you.
Baldoni's legal representatives seem convinced that if such materials show Lively originally championing comedic beats and opulent fashion ideas, it would reinforce their position that Lively misrepresented her involvement in court. Lively's representatives emphatically deny any misconduct. They assert that Swift is privy to only a fraction of the production discussions and is unaware of the broader changes or how the script developed over time. In their view, a passing message about comedic dialogue or extravagant costumes cannot fully reflect the frustrations and disagreements Lively experienced on a broader scale. They emphasize that filmmaking is a fluid process. An idea that begins as lighthearted fun can spiral into an overwhelming tonal shift when combined with further comedic bits, cameo roles, and attention-grabbing outfits. From their standpoint, the lawsuit never aimed to discredit comedic input. Instead, it sought to call attention to how Lively's overarching creative objectives were overshadowed once the film gathered momentum. The critical issue is whether Swift's disclosures conclusively indicate that Lively's claims are deceptive or merely illustrate how creative directions can shift over time. After all, plenty of movie productions go through dramatic tonal changes from early drafts to final edits. An email or note from a preliminary phase might not reflect how a lead actor feels months and countless revisions later. Moreover, Swift may not have been exposed to the entire creative process if her role was merely an informal sounding board. Yet the notion that Lively's lawsuit might be groundless hinges on whether she encouraged or promoted the same elements she ultimately insisted were foisted upon her. The magnitude of Baldoni's defamation complaint remains a pivotal element. He asserts that Lively's public remarks and legal documents inflicted damage on his reputation and jeopardized the project's financial prospects by an astounding $400 million. This figure is not merely symbolic. It underscores the depth of his conviction that he was unjustly portrayed. If Swift's evidence backs Baldoni's assertion that Lively was fully aware of the film's direction and had a substantial hand in shaping it, his claim becomes more compelling. Judicial bodies put a premium on credibility, and if Lively is shown to have deliberately concealed or distorted critical details, her position could disintegrate. Nonetheless, the bigger picture remains relevant. Even if Lively was initially on board with comedic or fashion-forward ideas, she may have become uneasy in the shadow of Reynolds' comedic reputation and Swift's celebrity influence, fearing that her foundational objectives for the character would be lost. It is not unusual for an enthusiastic start to evolve into disappointment as the intricacies of production escalate. Some legal observers highlight that there is a distinction between giving inaccurate testimony and simply altering one's viewpoint over time. Still, the repeated accusations that Lively provided deceptive statements under oath would be extremely serious if substantiated.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
Talking like this, me into my phone at 2 a.m, but largely via text and voice note. And I will be honest with you, that is not my biggest strength. I love being with people and being in somebody's space and being face to face, and I feel like that's where I excel, and definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges because there's so much to communicate and there's so much happening, and all that to say, I'm just really looking forward to spending time together. And I think that's going to really go a long way for our chemistry, which I believe is there, and has been there from the start. So I was so damn excited when you wanted to do this film. I felt it in the room when we met, and yeah, I think it does come from the both of us being hardworking and having a vision and not settling.
Swift's perspective is a unique one. She lacks official producer status or a formal writing credit, but her long-standing friendship with Lively has given her intimate access. Whether she contributed occasional comedic tidbits or simply offered a sympathetic ear during production, Swift was in a position to watch Lively's enthusiasm evolve up close. Should Swift indeed possess texts or other notes showing Lively celebrating comedic tweaks or reveling in extravagant costume ideas, such material could severely undermine Lively's assertion of being caught off guard. Moreover, Swift commands considerable respect in the public eye, known for scrupulous documentation and unwavering adherence to her beliefs. If she can provide definitive evidence that Lively misled the court, the shockwaves would be substantial. For the moment, Lively's camp remains on heightened alert. Word has it they are engaging in late-night strategy sessions with her legal advisors, crisis PR experts, and possibly Reynolds himself. They are reportedly sifting through every text, voicemail, and bit of footage to spot potential weak points. Their aim is to assemble a consistent timeline, allowing room for any fresh proof Swift may bring to light. Likely, they will maintain that sporadic evidence of comedic acceptance does not erase longer-standing creative disputes. They might also emphasize that Swift's viewpoint is limited, arguing that a friend's casual input is incapable of conveying the full breadth of a large-scale film production. Still, the burning question lingers. Will Swift formally testify, or will her input emerge in a more understated way, perhaps through back-channel settlements? A few observers wonder if she might provide a sworn declaration instead of testifying in person, avoiding the perils of cross-examination. Conversely, some believe the case's notoriety could drive Swift to address the issue publicly, particularly if she believes Lively's contentions misrepresent the facts. Swift recognizes the power her statements hold. One social media announcement from her could upend the prevailing conversation within hours. All the while, time is running out for the film. Should the legal dispute continue intensifying, backers and production companies may deem the project too tangled in scandal to move forward. A movie engulfed by persistent legal chaos risks a lackluster turnout.
A lot of it's my real life clothes or my husband's clothes or my girlfriend Gigi's clothes. I was borrowing some.
Wait, that's kind of amazing. So you have something of Gigi's in the movie.
Yeah, it's like a wedding, like something old, something borrowed, something blue, something new.
Wait, which
except
one?
it's just-
Now I want to think of the scene.
Oh,
so-
I'm wearing her stuff all over it.
Oh, really?
And tons of like Bodhi, which is with the suit now that I'm wearing is Bodhi. It was meant for my husband, but I
Wait,
borrowed
that's
it.
his suit?
It was meant for him to wear, but it's so pretty. Look at it. You guys are not getting it in the shot.
And find my way back to center. That is one thing I can assure you of. And I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That must have felt terrible. And I will for sure do better. That was not my best weekend, and I should have given it more time. And damn right, you got great friends if that's how you felt and they knew that. And we should all have friends like that, aside from the fact that they're two of the most creative people on the planet. The three of you guys together is unbelievable. Talk about energy and just a force, all three of you. But I just wanted you to know that I didn't need that, because it's really good and it's going to make the movie sing like you said, and I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you. I'm just excited to spend time with you. I'm excited to be in your sphere and your presence, and for us to share creative juices together, although that sounds terrible. I think you and I have been trying to build a relationship, which I think we've done successfully. I mean, here we are.
Regardless of its high-profile cast, if audiences become more preoccupied with allegations of falsehoods than with the plot's emotional depth, the film's potential could be jeopardized. Even if a deal is struck, the negative press may linger, complicating publicity and overshadowing any star-studded premieres. Swift's position has emerged as a symbol of both loyalty and truthfulness. In certain corners of the internet, some users are calling her the moral compass of the entire affair. They wonder if Lively confided in Swift to such a degree about feeling overshadowed that Swift now finds herself caught between her personal loyalty to Lively and her unease with perceived falsehoods. If in Swift's eyes, the lawsuit stands on unsteady ground, coming forward could be seen as a principled act. Conversely, if Swift lacks the full context, her intervention might only further entangle a complicated situation. In any event, the industry is keeping a keen eye on the unfolding drama. These figures are far from obscure. Lively, Baldoni, Reynolds, and Swift all hold substantial sway over the public. The notion that text exchanges or video clips might come to light, showcasing direct discrepancies in Lively's testimony, is stirring speculation about the potential fallout for her career. On the other hand, if Swift's documents present a subtler contradiction, suggesting only a minor divergence between Lively's statements and the facts, Baldoni's defamation argument could weaken. The forthcoming phase may include depositions, cross-examinations, and possibly even more disclosures revealing the extent to which Lively's stance shifted or remained steady during production. The discourse has evolved far beyond a mere disagreement over a film's style. This conflict, initially resembling a standard dispute between a principal actor and a filmmaker, has transformed into a warning about the risks of partial truths in an era of limitless digital records. Every written message, voice recording, or casual remark can be brought back to either dispute or support,
It's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But we're thinking of keeping her.
Does she like play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her, and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
Hey, Blake. It is 2 a.m. Hopefully this does not wake you up. Whew. Wow. There's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person soon and get to talk more. But I'm just going to send you a few thoughts, and hopefully it's not going to be more than a few minutes. But that I don't have the best track record. I don't think either one of us have the best track record for our voice memos. I want to start with an apology. Man, reading the second part of your message, my heart sank. And I'm really...
An individual's sworn version of events. Swift's alleged cache of screenshots or recorded exchanges could serve as either a weapon or a defense, depending on whose side one deems deserving of validation. If there is a positive aspect to all of this, it may lie in the hope that fans of the source novel will eventually get to watch a film that genuinely reflects the book's essence. With enough openness, mutual understanding, or even a satisfactory settlement, production might continue in a more honest atmosphere. Audiences still long for a version that marries emotional depth with an appropriate dash of levity for widespread appeal. Whether this remains feasible hinges mostly on how the legal case concludes and how Swift's disclosures shape the aftermath. In the interim, Taylor Swift's choice to break her silence has sent a jolt through an already theatrical court battle. Her resolve to confront inconsistencies or outright fabrications mounts a serious challenge to Lively's reputation. Some observers think Swift would never act in such a way without unassailable evidence, considering how guarded her public persona is. Others speculate that Baldoni's team may be leveraging Swift's involvement, whether she knows it or not, to reinforce his position. With the tension on the rise, the phrase "Swift exposes Lively's bogus lawsuit" has become a sensation, dominating social media channels where pop culture fans and legal specialists parse every whisper, every clue, and every conceivable motivation. In the realm of Hollywood, such battles occasionally end with private settlements, yet that rarely quashes lingering uncertainties. Even if Lively and Baldoni broker a compromise, the public might never uncover the complete narrative behind conflicting accounts and last-minute comic alterations. Swift's emerging role as a beacon for the truth, or at least her version of the truth, guarantees that interest in this legal entanglement won't wane anytime soon. Whether Lively's lawsuit rests on dubious foundations or reflects a valid disagreement gone awry is yet to be determined. For the moment, all attention is on this glittering ensemble of personalities: a passionate director, a magnetic lead, a quick-witted spouse, and an internationally famous musician who might hold the ultimate key to understanding the tangled storyline. And at the center is Taylor Swift, whose resolve to speak her piece could shift the trajectory in entirely unforeseen ways.